Hi, I'm David Coddington with Roof Cycle.
In just a few short minutes, we're going to show you how recycling your asphalt tear-off shingles will benefit both your bottom line and the area where you work. Our recycling program has been in operation since early 2009, and many roofers, haulers, paving contractors, and municipalities are now benefiting from the use of recycled asphalt tear-off shingles, known as RAS. Many roofers and haulers are also saving money on tipping fees, and paving contractors and their end users will potentially save a lot of money too as the market develops for this valuable resource. Landfill diversion and CO2 reduction that's associated with the use of RAS in the pavement mix design is also a very important part of this program. Today we're going to show you how to properly recycle your asphalt tear-off shingles and save thousands of dollars in the process. Let's get started with the basics. Number one, introducing yourself to your prospective client. This is how I do it. I'm here today with Mike Abraham, the homeowner and prospective client. Mike, as you know, I'm an asphalt shingle recycler. Upon acceptance of our proposal, would you be interested in recycling your asphalt tear-off shingles?
I would.
Excellent. Well, when I go up to measure the roof, I need to get a few small shingle samples from the roof. May we have your permission to get those samples?
Of course.
Excellent. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.
Me too. My pleasure.
Number two, get up on the roof and get a total of 3 test samples, at least 1 from each layer. And if there's only 1 layer of roofing, get 3 samples. And number 3, prepare your samples for delivery to the test lab. So, I've been on the roof, I've gotten my samples. Here we have them in 3 separate bags, labeled uniquely with the chain of custody form. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Again, it's very important that you get 3 samples, at least 1 from each layer, and if there's 1 layer, get 3 samples. Here's the chain of custody form for the test lab. Please put in your project number, the address of your project here. The client is your company name. The project manager is you. And circle 24-hour for turnaround time. And then on the test samples, please create a unique label for each sample. At the bottom, your signature, your company name, and the date. On page 2, please include your email and any other pertinent information, and they will email you the results directly. So now you have your test samples, you have your chain of custody form filled out. The next step is to go to FedEx Kinko's and send your samples off to the test lab. This cost is paid for by the recipient, and the address is on the following graphic. Today we're doing the shingle tear-off. I am here today with Russ Callis of Hallway Recycling. Russ is going to haul the shingles for us. And we are going to take the shingles, the base felt, and the nails. The base felt is known as tar paper as well. And these are the items that are going to go into the roll-off bin. And these are actually the items that can be taken to the collection point.
Russ, what are some of the considerations in recycling asphalt tear-off shingles?
Well, actually shingles are one of the easiest things to keep as a load without contaminating it. When you're doing a tear-off, you basically only have things that can be recycled. The tar paper and the shingles basically fill up the roll-off. It's only at the end when you're starting to do the new shingles where you have the shingle wraps and you have the different things that trash, lunches from the guys or different things come along that the load gets contaminated. So basically it's just keeping track of the load when you're starting to redo the new roof and tracking all the materials in.
Okay.
Basically it's pretty straightforward.
One last thing, when you go to the collection point, what's been your experience there? What should haulers and roofers be aware of when they're taking their shingles to the collection point?
Well, if you establish a consistent clean load, you won't be scrutinized and they'll actually be happy to see you coming. But if you get a reputation for having contaminated loads, then you're going to have a lot of problems where every time you show up they're going to want to scrutinize and check out your load, and it's better to start with getting a good reputation.
Right. Well, Russ has been recycling our loads now for over a year. He's done an excellent job. I'm very happy to work with Russ. And Russ, thank you for showing up today and working with us in our effort to recycle the asphalt tear-off shingles.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay, I'm here with Eli Marin, the job foreman for our tear-off crew today. Eli, what's the scope of our job, and what are you going to do today to make sure that this is a good, clean load for recycling?
Well, this is about 28, 30 square tear-off, one layer, and we're going to make sure that the load is as clean as possible, like we always do. So as you can see, we got a small trailer there for our non-recyclable material, and the guys already know how to do it. So it really makes it easy once you have 2 trailers on the job site.
Great,
Yeah.
great. And I just want to reiterate too that the zinc-coated nails can be accepted in this recycling load, but the plastic cap nails that are aluminum, we would prefer to have those separate because the magnet in the chopper machine can't separate those. But I understand there are some other plastic cap nails now available in
Yes,
steel?
a lot of them are steel, so they can be thrown in the recyclable.
So I want to tell folks about the other materials that can be recycled. Flashings, steel can also be recycled, dimensional lumber, OSB are recyclable, and the shingle wraps are recyclable. And I know that sometimes it's a hardship, it's not an easy thing to do, but how would you handle those sorts of things, Eli?
Well, the best thing to do is separate everything as you go, and then just try to put them on one side each on the trailer that is not shingles, asphalt shingles.
Right. And if we're in a situation where we don't have a separate trailer, how would you handle that?
Well, like I said before, we usually have a tarp, and we throw everything on the tarp. So at the time that we are about to leave, we just throw everything, pick up the tarp and throw it in our trailer. Usually they will have another roll-off on the plant, so you can throw your trash and recycle the metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, you might put a tarp on top of the clean recyclable
Yes.
load and then throw the trash on top?
Throw the trash on top,
when
and
you
that
get
will
to
make it a lot easier
Okay.
if you have your own trailer. Yeah.
And when you get to the collection point, there are bins to recycle?
Yes, you can separate. It will take you 10 minutes to do it. I usually do it by myself, so it's not that hard to do.
Right. You know, one of the other things I'm wondering is, over the past year you've been doing this recycling with the program, and I'm wondering what your experience has been getting your guys used to doing this, what sort of challenges you've had, how it's become a little bit easier, the sorts of things you've been doing to make it work better.
Well, at the beginning it was kind of confusing because the guys will forget, because we've been doing it for so many years without recycling, and they just kept forgetting and throwing stuff in there. But you know, after two months, they are getting used to it.
Great.
And now it's working okay.
And I was also curious, you know, when you recycle your own loads, is this an opportunity for you to save some money?
Oh yeah, there is a lot of savings, especially now that landfill prices are going high. We usually save about $150 on each house, on a 30 square house.
Okay,
so it's a big savings there.
Well, thanks for being with us today, and have a great tear-off and recycling experience.
Thank you, David.
You bet. I'm here at the RAS Collection Point with Dean Rossi of Brandon Sand and Gravel. Dean, could you give us a brief description of the protocol that we need to go through to recycle our shingles here?
Absolutely. What we have out here is a simple protocol. We take all the asphalt shingles, the material that's basically indigenous to the process, with the exception of wood. We ask that any shingling, shake shingle, pallet material, any kind of plywood be omitted from the process. Otherwise, we do take a lot of the material. We have bins set up to take some of the papers and the plastics away, as well as some of the flashing and basic trash that comes with it. We've accommodated the roofers there. It's actually pretty convenient, and it gets them through here in and out pretty quick.
Dean, what about the importance of asbestos testing before the loads get to the yard?
We have the roof tested on the front end. It makes things much more convenient, saves a lot of the paperwork and the headache on the back end for us.
Great. Well, I'm happy to say that for our particular load, we had an inspection that passed the asbestos test. This shows that there was no asbestos detected in our load. And Dean, I want to thank you for taking the time today to speak with us about your wonderful recycling program.
Not at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate having you. Thank you.
Thank you for your effort to recycle the asphalt tear-off shingles. Your good work is making our roofing industry more sustainable. And remember, tested loads and clean loads mean that paving contractors have an easier time working with this material. And as you recycle, you will also save more dollars.
What on earth can one do? Let's change.